What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Life's a Dance podcast. I am your host, Trey Culata. Thank you, as always, for pressing play, supporting the channel, and yourselves, because I am out here on a mission to help you, me, and as many other people as possible out there untangle and demystify all the crazy shit that's going on in our heads so that we can be more joyous, more exuberant, more excited about life, and be our most authentic selves as we go out there into the world and live our lives. So welcome. Today we are talking about figuring it out, because lately I have had to figure out so many friggin' things that I have never ever done before, and it's frustrating and it's challenging and it's rewarding all at the same time. And a quick side note, I hope you guys missed me because I had to take a break last week. I've been so busy, just on this topic of figuring it out, trying to figure out how to get this friggin' cabin done, that I just had to take a break last week because I had shit that I had to do. So, apologies for all of my avid listeners out there, but I missed you and I'm glad that I'm back. So let's get into it. Figure it out. So I used to have this bad habit back when me and my husband first started dating, and he's the one that, God bless him, this is his fault. He taught me how to use power tools. And now I'm, building a friggin' house from the ground up. And, so when we first started doing this type of stuff and we were renovating our own house that we were moving into, I would always constantly ask him for help. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I would, have to take him away from some project that he was working on in order to help me. And then he would take, another 15 minutes just to get back in the groove. And then here I come again. Hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? But luckily for me, I had a patient teacher and I was open to learning. And now, not only do I have my own set of power tools and all that fun stuff, I go to him far less than I used to when I need help figuring something out, especially when it comes to building something. Okay. And I'm talking about physically building something, but we could be mentally building something in this scenario as well. So now, is another good example, the land development deal that I'm doing. It's like I have had to figure out, my partner as well, so many different facets of this project, and having never done anything like this before. And the only reason why I felt confident enough to even do it in the first place is because I had built up enough, done enough reps in my mind of knowing that, hey, each time I'm faced with an obstacle, I can and will figure it out. Somehow I will find a way. I will figure out a way. So the message here is, rather than, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help, don't get me wrong, but when we have the ability to take that knowledge and use it and expand upon it ourselves, I'm going to encourage you at every turn where you are faced with an obstacle, look at it as a learning opportunity and look at it as a challenge for you to figure it out. Because now when I'm faced with challenges, now when I'm faced with something that I don't know what the answer is or how I'm going to fix it or how I'm going to, get it across the finish line or whatever, literally the default saying, phrase, mantra in my head is now figure it out and or handle it. One of the two, depending on the severity of the situation. Sometimes I gotta, say, put your big girl panties on and handle it, Trey. Just fucking handle it. And other times it's like when I feel that tug on my heart to phone a friend or whatever, I'm like, you know what? Figure it out, girl. You can figure it out. You've got a big brain. You can figure this shit out on your own. And nowadays, there's really no excuse because we have YouTube and it's like literally anything, any possible question or thing that you need to figure out. You could probably just type it in the YouTube search box and it will pop out. Somebody's already made a damn video. You might have to do a little bit of digging, but eventually you're going to find the answer. I had to break into my own damn camper the other day because my kids locked me out. And I was like, you know what? These locks aren't that complicated. There's got to be an easy way to fix it. And, thank God for rednecks on TikTok, because some redneck locked himself out of his camper and his wife totally filmed him breaking in. And I was able to take that knowledge and apply it to my own real life situation. And I got us into the camper. Otherwise, we would have been sleeping out in the woods in the middle of nowhere in the cold that night. So anyhow, these are just a few examples of what I'm talking about. But what's great about this, because this is literally the cornerstone of, there's a famous author and psychiatrist. Her name is Carol Dweck, and she wrote a book called Growth Mindset. And it's one of the books that literally changed my life, because it proves that, there's this old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, it's absolutely totally false. And some people are born with talent. And no, that's also false. People that are good at anything have practiced, they've put in the work, and they have figured it out. Okay? They have just simply worked harder at something than the person next to them. Because they actually did a study where they took somebody who had been taking art classes and then somebody who hadn't, taken any art classes, and put them into an art class, and showed that the person that took a few classes over time and applied themselves actually became just as good of an artist as the person who had been, doing it their whole lives. Well, just showing like the progression of how much they, grew within their skill set. So everything in life is, if you boil it down to just acquiring a new skill and learning a new skill, everything is figure outable. And that is one of the most important things that my husband has taught me, because literally there is not anything that man cannot figure out how to do. He literally just goes on YouTube, again, with the YouTube reference, looks it up, breaks out his power tools and figures it out. And yeah, maybe the first time it takes, 3 times as long as it should because it's the first time around. But then the next go around, you're doing it in half the time. And that's what my hope is for this land development shit, because I'm like, God, I can't do this again. Not this way. It's a fucking mess, you guys. But we are figuring it out. And the only reason why I knew that we'd be able to figure it out is because I had done enough reps on a smaller scale that I was, of figuring shit out on my own and building stuff and renovating things and going through, various different problems and issues and whatever that I had to handle. I gave myself the inner confidence to be like, you know what? I can take on more. I can take on a much bigger project and figure it out. And that's where I'm at right now, guys. So, and that's why I'm sharing this with you, because I want to encourage you to go out there and figure it the fuck out. Like, what are you not doing because you haven't necessarily done it before, or maybe you don't have the skill set yet to do it, but you could figure it out if you just applied yourself. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. You can figure it out, and you can get to a point where you're like me, where now it's like when I'm faced with an issue, the mantra is, I look at the problem and I'm like, okay, let's figure it out. Okay, handle it, Trey. So as you go through your week this week, identify something in your life that you have been either avoiding because you need to figure it out and figure that shit out. I'm telling you, look it up on fucking YouTube, because somebody has made a damn video. Okay. All right, kids, that's going to do it for today. It might not have been soul riveting, but I hope it resonated in some way. I hope that this has inspired you to go figure something out in your life that may be challenging for you right now. But if you did get something out of this, I would really appreciate it and encourage you and invite you to share it with others that are like-minded, somebody else who might need a little boost in their day. And until next time, you know what to do. Let's dance.